my name is Nakami. We'll be coming to you from Press Launch. It is the official launch of the book On the Shoulders of Struggle, Memoirs of a Political Insider by Dr. Albert Mohofu. Hello, so joining me right now is Dr. Guti, the Provincial Development Coordinator of the Harare Metropolitan Province. And it is quite an honor to have him standing right next to me. And first of all, how are you doing?
I'm quite okay, and you?
I'm good. It is a pleasure to see you here and being part of the launch. So first things first, what are your expectations when it comes to the launch?
Look, Dr. Mohofu is a remarkable individual, a great leader, my former boss within the ruling party, and I'm quite excited for the book launch. We are in a space where in Zimbabwe, not many of our leaders have written memoirs that can guide the younger generation and give a true perspective of what happened during the liberation struggle, where we were before the independence and where we are today as a free Zimbabwe. I think this book, to me, I'm expecting a clear indication of where we are going as a nation based on where we came from.
All right, so now I know a lot of people are going to be reading this, particularly to the younger generation, let me say the youth. So maybe from your own understanding, why would you say it's important for the younger generation to get hold of this book?
I think it's very important because our education system, unfortunately across Africa, leaves out a lot of pertinent details about the African liberation struggles. We know about, as far as the Greek philosophies, we know about the great exploits of the European liberation fighters, but across Africa we still have a big vacuum in terms of what really transpired within African liberation struggles. So where we are currently, I think it's very important for young people to get hold of this book and to clearly have an appreciation of where Zimbabwe came from, for us to be called Zimbabwe. And this is a man who lived during that time, who actually understands what happened on the ground, and I think it's important that we do that.
So thank you very much for such profound insight on that. How are you doing?
I'm all right. Thank you very much.
All right, so you have been part of this prestigious launch. How do you feel to be here?
No, I think I feel honored to have been invited to this important launch. And it would be also a good experience to interact with the author as well as the publishers, but also to have a better understanding of what prompted the writing of this book and what the book intends to achieve as a result of its publication.
All right, so speaking of the book, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are still to go through it, and I do believe you are still to exhaust it as well yourself. And the event at large, what are your expectations? You coming here, what do you expect from everyone around pertaining to the book and everything else?
I think it's also intended to inspire other people to write. We haven't done a lot in terms of writing about ourselves, and as a result, other people tend to write about us, which tend to really have a different storyline. We also I think it also inspires people to document. We've lost quite a lot of our history, our culture, as a result of not having documented. And I think medicine is a case in point. There's so much knowledge about herbs, about medicines, but no one can come up and say, this is the history, this is the knowledge that we've attained from the people who have gone before us, because we have not documented that information, that knowledge that was.
All right, thank you very much for joining me. That was quite profound.
Awaiting the arrival and the beginning of the book launch by Dr. Albert Mohofu, On the Shoulders of the Struggle, Memoirs of Political Insider. I think this is of significance, and do you think that this is an important event,
so that is
the documentation of our history?
I always believe that it's important to have our stories being told, particularly by people who participated in the struggle. I think it's important that these stories are told by the participant, because sometimes there's a lot of misrepresentation of what history is, and I think a memoir by someone who participated in the struggle can add to the sort of intellectual treasure of a nation, and it's key to nation building that we have people who were part of the struggle tell their stories. And I think it needs to be encouraged that even others who haven't done this kind of work must be encouraged to do, and us as intellectuals must also try to work with them particularly those who have not done memos, so that we are creating an archive of narratives and stories of the liberation struggle that will benefit future generations.
Thank you very much and enjoy the book launch.
1212.
This book here.
We do have a
I'm
photo
here
booth
because I really
inside
take
if you
this
would
very
like to have a
serious.
photo opportunity.
As one of those
and as
who,
I did say,
who was
there are
in the
quite a
struggle,
lot of people
I think
here,
there's one thing
so
which
you
you've
can
done which is
interact,
unfair
have a
for the
photo
people of this
opportunity.
country.
If you'd like to
not writing
purchase a
what we
copy
went
of
through.
the book,
and I want
you
to
can do that. There's a
applaud
table right here to the
my
right
good
when you walk
comrade
into
and our Secretary
the
General
concourse area there, just
ZANU-PF,
past the reception.
Comrade Mohofu, for
So
writing
it's
a
going to be
book
auctioned as well.
to detail
Lots
what
of exciting
happened.
things in
We all
store
want to follow
this
suit.
afternoon.
This will take a leaf out of this and we'll be able to write what we went through during the struggle. I think this is very good and we celebrate. That's why we are here.
Thank you very much and enjoy the launch. A very good afternoon to you, Honorable, and thank you for gracing the occasion. I'd like to know what do you think is the importance of documenting our struggle?
You know, a people without history are a lost people. And history can only be known if it is documented, if it is written. Otherwise, your history, your whole life is described by other people. It's other people's narrative. And they always speak from their own narrative. So the step that Dr. Mohofu has taken to document our history is an important contribution to the armed struggle. It's an important contribution to the history of nation building since our independence in 1980. So I am very grateful to Dr. Mohofu for this contribution, and I want to invite other cadres who have participated in every facet of our armed struggle to make their contribution by writing their memoirs so that we leave a legacy of what black people have done to liberate their country.
Thank you very much, Honorable, and have a pleasant day. I'd like to know, as a war veteran, why do you think it's important for us as a country to document the events of our history and our liberation struggle?
A people without a history cannot have a reality of life, contemporary life. Hence, they find it difficult to go ahead, to forge ahead. That's the future. So it's important that we write, these books are written. I must congratulate Dr. Mohofu for doing things first before others. All war veterans, as I speak, are being encouraged to do so because the Institute for African Liberation Knowledge is in the process of collecting all information pertaining to the liberation struggle for the Africa Museum and the National Museum. What I'm talking about here is the evidence of the things that the people of Zimbabwe hoped for, which is independence and the freedom, which was brought about by the ruling party ZANU-PF. No one globally would ever doubt that ZANU-PF did it. They are the custodians of the revolution. And Dr. Mohofu is one of those guys, senior guys, people who went earlier than others, who went earlier even earlier than me, who did it, who persevered, brave guys, unwavering guys, committed guys to save the nation of Zimbabwe. And Dr. Mohofu is just one of them. Let me take this opportunity to encourage all war veterans to do exactly the same so that our history is left behind for the benefit of the next generation, so that the next generation will not let go the country for their benefit because it is their heritage.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the launch.
On the Shoulders of Struggle, Memoirs of a Political Insider.